Okay, so I was driving. I think I was in Pennsylvania or somewhere, but I went into an Indian nation, and so I'm driving along there, and I see an exit for a town, and there was a casino there, so I jumped off and went in the casino to lose the required $20, and so that's this. And I decided that I would stop back again by Lake Erie to see what it looked like when it wasn't angry from a storm, and it just looked like a regular ginormous huge lake. So instead of showing you that, I thought I'd show you some Lake Erie rocks and sand because I like stuff like this. And here I'm at Flint Ridge, but I stayed at Zanesville, which is where Zane Grey lived, and that's like 20-minute drive or something from here. Before I stayed at Newark when I was there last time. Either one will work. But anyway, this is Flint Ridge, and I wasn't totally satisfied with my capturing of the two napins, but I wasn't feeling good part of the time because I ate something wrong somewhere at a restaurant. So anyway, so here I am. Oh, and I got there like on Monday. So on Monday, I mean, there was no napping going on. So I decided to go bug Roy Miller. And he didn't seem to mind, so I didn't even feel too guilty about it. I just went over there and hung out at his place, which is nearby, and he was going to his back acreage to do something with his backhoe, and so I went along with him. It was fun. Then I left and I went over to see Ms. Nethers and her cat Firefly. Ms. Nethers has a farm about 10 minutes away from Flint Ridge, but you'll never find it without navigation software probably. And she has quarries back in the woods across the street from her farm, and they have Nethers Flint Ridge flint in them, which is a different type of Flint Ridge. It has different colors and patterns and stuff on it. And people go back there and they sign in with her on her porch, and then they go back there and get rock, and then they take it and weigh it and leave the money. And anyway, so this is the Nethers. Hang on.
Well, here we are at Nethers Farm Quarries, Hopewell, Ohio. And I'm back in the woods here. Now that way along the trail is the road, and another quarry or two up there. So I'm just here looking around for a minute and see what I can see. Bye.
You know, it's really hard rock mining, so this stuff is chalcedony, and it, you know, razor sharp breaks, and it's super tough stuff. So I just kind of wander around and pick through the stuff and try and find a few little pieces to say that I collected there, because I'm not really up for digging and working hard and everything like that, but it's still fun to go see it all. So anyway, after I talked to Ms. Nethers and Firefly and everything, I went back, and by that time, you know, Dan Toyce had showed up, and he and Roy were talking and looking at rock and everything, so I just captured that little moment. And this is, I don't know who the tall guy in the center is, but it's Mike from Fredericksburg on the left, and then Roy on the right. Oh, that's some rock that I ended up with. I like it. This, you know, the napping still wasn't going on, so one of the things that I'd like to do is walk through the woods along the trails where the original old Indian quarries are there on the actual park site. And this is one of those trails going in the back. Oh, this is some raw Flint Ridge. You know, it doesn't have all the color before you heat it. The color comes from minerals that have gotten in the cracks, and then the cracks heal, and the minerals trapped in there, and then they color when they heat it. But I like hitting raw stuff, so I got some raw stuff to hit on a little. This is when the thing was getting started, and this is Roy's rock that he put out for people to get. And almost all the stuff on about the most of this stuff from this point on is Flint Ridge, but there was a little bit of hornstone and coral, and there was a little novaculite, and there was some Knife River, but most of it is Flint Ridge. But keep an eye on that, because at the end you'll see what was left. It wasn't much. This, I think, was the same stuff that was the Knife River and the Rainy Buttes that were at New York. This is an interesting deal. This guy showed up. He lives near east of Dallas, Joe, and he had a large amount of slabbed material that he had collected and slabbed back in like mid-90s, and he was selling off some of it. And I mean, this was some rare stuff to see, a lot of it, because you just don't see some of this stuff in these quantities. It was amazing. I took this video to show how he trimmed stuff.
I still lead fill them, you know, with hardened lead, tempered lead. And
he's using a Texas wand,
keep them hammered down, and
he's got a piece of limestone or something that's hard. He's using it as an anvil, and the angle that he's striking at is putting a perfect 45-degree bevel on that edge to where you can come back with a thick slab and use it as a percussion slab. But at the same time, he's trimming it to the shape I think the customer wanted. This, the knapins going on. I can't remember how to pronounce this young man's name. He's from Israel, and he's avid with primitive skills and that kind of stuff, and napping and everything. And he went around and was talking to everybody and was having a good time, and it was fun to talk to. This is Ed Mosier. He's a very prolific napper. All the stuff back here is stuff he made, and he's friendly and good and likes to talk to people and help people figure out what they're doing and everything. So it was a good little thing to take a picture of. This is some, and the lighting was just right. The sun was going in under Ed's cover and showing the scar patterns on some of his blades. So I really liked that kind of view and took these pictures of his work. This is the napping calendar for next year, and this page, I just turned to that and took a picture of it just because a lot of that work is mine, and then some of it is Derek McLean, who does the calendar. These are Circe points, and Derek is selling a calendar. I think online it's McLean Design, MCLEAN Design or something, and website. But anyway, if you Google Flint Napping Calendar, you'll probably find it. But Derek's fun to hang out with and talk to and everything. This was a case, a double display case. It's hinged. It's like a traveling case. It's hinged, and you open it up, and it folds out into two cases. The glass is toward the inside. And I got this in New York, and I just decided to throw in a picture of it because I thought it was really cool. It's Flame Box Elder, I think. I'm not sure whose rock that is. I think that's Kentucky Flintworks rock. That's, yeah. Okay, this is self-explanatory. This is a Canadian guy that I told him he needed to give me a tour around the mountain. I thought he was going to go slow the whole time. His name's Rob.
Good way to do your hair in the morning.
Zipping around at Flint Ridge on a Ural sidecar Russian motorcycle.
Yeah, that was some drama. But anyway. Back to the nap in. This is Jim Redfern finishing up a button-based dovetail out of, looks like Flint Ridge to me. And if you notice, he has his Tony's Cajun seasoning there, just in case anything needs flavoring. This looks like coral and Flint River and obsidian and stuff. I can't tell what the other stuff is. That looks like Flint River, coastal plains, whatever. This was a cool carrying case full of Woody Blackwell's latest Danish dagger work. This is Joel Robinson's hornstone supply, and that was darn near gone by the end too. And these are a couple of his points. He had some of his artifact collection there, and the turkey tails, and I thought this was a cool picture. This guy was spalling out Carter Cave flint, which is always something that people want. I don't know what this is, so I took a picture of it. That's a back scratcher. And the woman who made it was extremely happy that I bought it, because I think her husband had told her that nobody was going to buy it, and then I bought it, so she was definitely gloating over the sale. She said she's going to make another one. This is an example of the way things just show up at Knapins. I got all this copper, and now I need to trade it off for something, because as usual, 90% of it is stuff that's too heavy for me to use with my 98-pound weakling self. But anyway, big copper. I like big copper. So Carter Cave, get you some. It's good stuff. Some of it's good stuff. It's pretty. I like it. I really kind of wanted to get some of these things just because they were out of, the guy said it was something like food grade stainless steel or something, which I have no idea what that means. But I don't really need more, so I've got lots of stuff. Rock. Lots of rock. Upper Mercer flint. That will definitely test your skills unless you get the ultimate high grade of it. Oh, this is a video. Hold on.
Well, I'm sort of standing in the middle of the Flint Ridge Knapin, and it's kind of cold, but
it got cold.
There's a lot of
but we still had fun.
Anyway, it's Friday, so
nobody left.
Maybe more tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are a lot of good deals on flint and tools and just about everything you can imagine, really.
This is a big Knapin.
There's also
it's
a whole
big.
lot of people here that are good to know, that are members of the napping community, and it really is a good place to be. Bye.
And it's kind of a who's who, you know. There's a lot of people that, you know, will go to a Knapin like this, and you never get to meet them otherwise, maybe. I kind of wanted to talk to this guy, but he was busy. Customers buying some wrought iron type stuff, or some, you know, blacksmith stuff. But okay, so Roy parks his equipment for people to put debitage in for the end to carry it away, and then everybody comes along and goes through all the debitage. I don't know. This is Woody Blackwell. I have no idea what he was making right there. I think it was one of them deals when I'd been walking around. I just walked up and he was working on something. But he tends to, you know, attract an audience, because I think most people know he can really nap and really can make stuff. So, and he has a different kind of technique. So it's worth watching. At some point he decided to blank out a Danish dagger from a nodule, and he had no intention of finishing it there because it needed a lot more work, but he just blanked it out, and so there were people standing there watching him while he did that. And in this picture, I think what he was doing, he may have been doing the first set of punching. Yeah, it looks like on that stitching down the median ridge. I think that's his first set on that. And he's using a punch and hitting it with a block of wood. This group over here, you know, they had the Spirit Award, or they needed the Spirit Award, because these guys, this guy here is kind of a ringleader, I think, Jason, and he's not too far away from me. He showed up at Niblet's Bluff Knapin. But there's a lot of cheerful people in that group, and they were fun to be nearby. That's something I made. I don't remember what the deal was, but I had a longish rock, so I tried to use it all. This person was set up near us that had a bunch of artifacts, and so I just took pictures of the cases and thought I would show them to you. And you, of course, can stop these videos if you want to and look at these things if you wish. I always try and take pictures of artifacts when I get the chance for reference, because you just can't find everything online. I was going to say something else, but I don't remember what it was. That's Craig Ratzett's stuff. He brings a lot of stuff to the big Knapins. One thing that's fun is if I go to a Knapin, even if it's one I haven't been to before, if it's a big one, like as not, if I show up, I'll see 40 or 50 people I know, because they just make the rounds. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's how much of that rock was left. See, almost all of the Flint Ridge is gone. A pretty big crowd having fun under tarp. The Wizard. That's something I made out of Kinley rock. Probably raw Kinley rock. This was kind of a cool deal. A guy that collects different people's work showed up, and this was his rock, and it was a big piece of Brazilian agate, and he had turkey roasted it, and it had two different colors in it, and they had taken the heat differently. And one side of it was real gnarly with cortex and stuff, the other side was sawn, and it was just a monstrous, hugely difficult reduction kind of situation. I mean, the rock was rippling and everything. And when he didn't say a word, he just sat there and started calmly and methodically working it. And darn if he didn't beat that thing. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, ain't no way. But he just sat there and worked on it. This part, they were talking about Danish daggers, Ed Mosier and Dan Toyce and Woody, and of course I kept my mouth shut. But anyway, he just kept there working on that agate. At one point I walked away for a while, and when I came back he tossed it to me. He does stuff like that. Fortunately, I've gotten calmer about it because it's not like it's my rock. There's the tailgate party of the Smiley group. They were fun. Okay, so, here we go. So, solid copper, carefully isolated platform, whack it. And just do, a couple of 100 of those, and maybe you'll be okay, and maybe you won't. But you can see, I mean, that thing's under control there. It's already thin and getting there. And I actually left before he finished, so I never got a picture of the final thing. So, Roy Miller stuff. That's Butch Seidel's stuff. Woody's display cases. Some of his work. And that's it. But it's not finished yet. I'll be back.